Hello today, my name is Luke Hinsley, and my goal is to save the world through the avenue of Australian federal politics, not as anyone's hero, but as the villain that brings change. The purpose of this presentation is to discuss my perspective on Australia and its future, with the main focus being on Australia becoming an independent republic. Having Australia become an independent republic is one of my long-term political goals, but I'm going to approach the topic from the perhaps controversial opinion that Australia is not ready to become an independent republic. Yet. One of the most important aspects of becoming independent is self-determination, of determining who you are and who you want to be. In my opinion, we haven't done the legwork to get to that point. Therein lies the scope of this video. For Australia to become ready, we're going to need to have some in-depth and possibly uncomfortable conversations about a lot of potentially controversial issues. This is partly the role of playing the villain, being the bad guy willing to start that talk, which can be difficult as politics is personal. We all have our perspectives, and some of those are held pretty tightly. I believe for progress to be made, somebody needs to be willing to speak when others hesitate, not just to point out where or why something may be wrong, to challenge the status quo, but to question the unquestionable and criticize what is seen as beyond reproach, to risk ridicule or being labeled an enemy. It is my belief that heroes maintain the status quo and that villains bring change. This forms part of my perspective and my approach to issues. I'm not trying to upset people, but rather I recognize that upsetting some people is inevitable in achieving my goals. But this isn't just about pointing out what I think is wrong. I also want to offer my vision for Australia and how we might do better. Challenge is an opportunity for change. The kind of change I want to bring will destroy the status quo. It'll upset the power of the wealthy elite establishment and the politics and media environment that they have engineered. I'm willing to be vilified by them. I'm willing to be hated, to be the focal point for their anger and rage, to be the face, the embodiment of everything they oppose, because somebody needs to be. When faced with that onslaught, good people have crumbled and capitulated, leaving us with the politics of appeasement. We have no leaders to build our nation, only managers to oversee the harvest of the colony. On my journey so far, I have faced anger, abuse, and even threats. And I don't mean online, I mean face to face with real people, and I'm still not giving up. My videos online get practically no views, but I'm still not giving up. To show my willingness to face the slings and arrows, I present the following series of videos where I will address my opinions on controversial topics or opinions that I think will be seen as controversial. Most relate to values and or the issues of the day, the sorts of things that a free society should be able to openly discuss. The point of this is partly an attempt to get noticed, as I recognize that I cannot succeed alone and even negative attention can extend the reach of my message. One of the things you need to be cautious of when people make these kinds of claims, especially in the political realm, is whether or not they mean what they say. There are a lot of dishonest actors who will argue in bad faith. Those kinds of people tend to believe that everyone else is thinking exactly the same way they are. So if they're willing to lie to represent their side, they assume that you are too. This is why there's the saying that every accusation is a secret confession. They tell on themselves by accusing you of doing what they are doing, because they think if they're doing it, then you must be too. Which is why even though I will claim that everything I say I genuinely believe, I will still encourage you to be skeptical and think critically. More so when people say the things that you believe too. We are more likely to accept claims when they support our own biases. Now, my perspective tends to be progressive, but I'm not just progressive for the sake of being progressive though. I'm not virtue signaling, I'm not putting my pronouns in my bio, I'm not referring to myself as cisgendered. By progressive, I mean that I focus on the long term development of the human species. I want to see humans take to the stars to become a multi-planetary species, but we will need to get our own house in order to survive ourselves and our own nature if that is ever to become possible. So I invite you to watch and listen to what I have to say, see where we agree and disagree. I'll cover topics from AI to Israel to feminism, leading to why I think Australia is not ready to be an independent republic, along with my vision of what we could be. I'll even throw in a lightning round for smaller topics that have earned my ire. They might not relate to politics. Some of the opinions I'll express are more about giving a well rounded view of myself as a person and a political candidate, and use this as an excuse to vent. I hope you'll enjoy it, but if I manage to piss you off, I hope you'll tell me why. I don't claim to have all of the answers, and hearing other people's perspectives is one of the ways I learn.